let me turn on the recording. I have to be off right at 11, so I'm going to try to get to everything I need to get to. I'm excited for today. Let me see. I have a class right after this. So I literally have like 6 tabs pulled up. So let me find the right tab. Building Your Destiny, April 2nd. Awesome. So I am going to mute everybody. Oops, I think I just unmuted. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So we're going to get started. We're going to talk about sales and marketing today because a lot of people were having sales questions. And so I wanted to really dig in deep into the sales and marketing of our business, because the problem is people think they're the same thing because they're so closely intertwined. So I don't know why, but I think Janelle keeps going unmuted, but I keep muting. So we'll see. So there we go. So if you guys have questions that pop up, let me know. Where there's not as many people on and the training might not be as long, just because I may only get so far and questions are usually what fill up a lot of the time, but it's going to be impactful. There's going to be tons of information, but I want you guys to understand that sales and marketing is not the same thing. Like marketing and sales, like I said, are so closely intertwined, and they both need 100% focus to actually make your business successful. That's something that you need to focus on every single day. It's something that you need to really dive in deep and understand, so you understand how it works. Because even if you hire somebody to do your sales and marketing for you, you need to know enough to understand how to manage them or control them, so that obviously you know where your money is going and how marketing should work and who you want to market and how it goes. And so what I want you to understand is that marketing is about branding. Branding, advertising, and public relations is what I wrote down. Branding, advertising, and public relations. So when you think about marketing, I want you to think about it as how or like, who are you getting in front of? How or who are you getting in front of? What's going to create those relationships, and how are you going to get in front of them? So think of it as like your brand, your personality, your advertising, kind of how is it that you're going to bring people in to create the sell. So marketing is how to get in front of your target market. Sales is then the activity of marketing. So it's closing the deal. So marketing creates the demand, and sales secures that demand for your business, if that makes sense. So sales is like, this is how we're closing the deal. We have them in, we've got our market, everybody's, funneling into our funnel. Now I need to take them down that sales timeline that we have talked about, how you reconstruct and deconstruct the beliefs, how you're going to kind of pre-sell to them, and then how do you actually close the deal and make that sell. So I'm super excited. The membership site is actually up, so I just need to get you guys your codes, and then you can get in, and then everything's going to be a little more organized, and you'll be able to go back and find like those sales trainings. But what I want you to think about is, number one, marketing, how to get people in. Sell, how do you close people on that deal? Both need to be equally focused on every single day. You cannot get a sell without marketing. And well, I guess you shouldn't say that. You get lucky every once in a while and people just come to you. But either way, how did they find you? Where were you at? What place were you at when somebody, decided to buy from you? And also, like, marketing isn't really possible without sales, or there'd be no point to marketing actually if there was no sales. And so unless you do everything and you're just trying to spread a message for free, but even if you're doing free or trade or something, there's still a way to market to people. Even these churches that, they have these big conferences or they have these things, they still are marketing them. They're still trying to get people out there or get their word out there so that they can convert people. So no matter what it is, even if it's not like necessarily a paid business, I would really look at that and think like, even if it's a nonprofit, you still have to get the word out there. You still have fundraisers. You still have money that needs to be raised. So I want you to think about that. If you're, the next thing I want you to think about is your goal should be taking 8 clients through your strategy, like through your marketing strategy, and at least get one sell out of those 8. So I'm constantly thinking, okay, how am I going to reach 10 people? How am I going to reach 10 people? Because I always just go off of like 1 in 10, even though I kind of can sign 1 in 5. But I always just say, okay, how many, if I shoot high of like, I got to reach 10 people before they're going to actually buy, or like before they're actually going to buy from me, or that one person's going to buy from me, you need to know your conversion rates. And so for me, if your number is higher than 1 in 8, so like mine, like I said, mine's like 1 in 5. So that's why I raised my prices. If you have a higher conversion rate of taking people, more than 8 people through your funnel and 1 person buying, it's time to raise your prices. It means that you're charging too little, and you're just reaching, you're filling your funnel so quickly, which is a higher quality problem. But then people feel like they're overworked, they're too busy. So 1 in 8 is a good conversion rate of what you kind of want to stay at. And so I want you to think about too is, how do you know when to just market, and how do you know how to turn that into like a selling strategy? I'm going to go over and just make sure there's no questions being asked yet though first. Okay. Can you hear me now?
It's off and on. Sometimes you're really smooth. Other times I catch like every 5th word.
That's so weird. I don't know why. Are you keeping up with me? Is there anything you need clarification on?
What I've caught so far is that marketing leads up to the sale and the sale is closing the deal. And then what you're talking about, conversion rate, I haven't really caught much of anything else. It's just words here and there.
Okay, so can you?
Sounds good on my end, Nicole.
You're good?
So it might just be her.
Maybe it's on my end then.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm like, I haven't got any notifications saying my thing is anything. So I'll kind of clarify though. With conversion rates, you want to take at least 1 person or 8 people through your marketing strategy to get 1 sell. If your conversion rates are better than 1 in 8, it's time to raise your prices. It's time to upgrade. So say you have conversion rates of 1 in 5. The reason that is because eventually you're going to get overworked. You're going to get burnt out. So people always say, I don't know when to raise my prices. But when you have a conversion rate that's more than 1 in 8, it's time to raise your prices. So that's kind of what I would say there. The next thing I want you guys to think about is, or that I get asked is, how do you know when to market, and how do you know when to switch to your sales strategy? So I always tell people, cold leads, that's where you're going to focus your marketing on. The people that know nothing about you, the people that maybe are just on your personal Facebook page, the people that, you meet in the public, the people that, you know nothing really about them, maybe at the vendor events. That's going to be more of like your marketing strategy. Then when you start to lead into a sell, that's when it starts to go into a warm lead. You start to transfer into that selling strategy. You start going into that pre-sell, then you start going into like the actual sell, then you start going into the closing. And so I always tell people, make sure when you're going, the problem is a lot of people, especially in network marketing, they try to just lead people straight to the sell, or with vendor boosts or whatever it is. They try to just lead people right to the product. They forget that marketing happens with every interaction that you have. So when you're marketing people, and say Jamie's at this vendor event, she's not just going to be like, oh, here's my product, it's this much. No, like she's going to be like, oh, hey, like, how are you? What are you like? Where do you live? Like, really getting to know the people, getting to know their life, getting them to start asking questions, so she knows what they want. Not what she wants to tell them, but what they want. They're usually probably going to ask, oh, what's so different about yours than other products? What's in it? What is this banana, whatever you had going on in your thing? Like, it's going to like spark questions, and you're going to start to learn your market. Now Jamie knows that every vendor event she goes to, she should be marking the crap out of this banana stuff that everybody was into, because everybody asks questions about that. So when she's online, she now knows she should be marketing that banana stuff, because that's what intrigues people. That's what's going to spark questions. Now, I wouldn't spew people with all this information. I would just mention this banana. I can't even remember what it was, but this banana flower or something. I don't know what it was. Banana flower. Yes. And I love banana flower. But a lot of people don't know about it. And so what I would say is start just being like, oh my gosh, like talk about the benefits of banana flour, or talk about the ingredients and be like, what do you think the secret ingredient in this is? It's a fruit, just guess, or whatever it may be. Like, start sparking interest around that banana flour, because your market was so onto that. Your market wanted to know more about that. So anytime I go to like a vendor event, or I go anywhere, anytime I get the same questions over and over and over, those are the things I market, and I market them to spark questions. So I'll start talking about reflux not being too much acid, and I know it's going to spark a question. The problem is we know it all, and we want to spew information that they don't know, which is awesome, but then they don't have a chance to ask questions. So if you know what questions are constantly getting asked, guess what? You're gonna start creating content to get those questions, those same exact questions sparked, so that you can answer them. How do we tweak this to a retail mode? I'm obviously not going to fluctuate prices per sell. You absolutely should be fluctuating prices per sell, because you are in retail. So your prices are going to be like, if you're selling, and I don't know what their rules are, but if you're selling a shirt that's just like flying off, like, then obviously you need to raise the price of that shirt. Or if you're not allowed to do that, then what you do is you create bundles around that. You're going to create an outfit. You're going to give them an added bonus. Maybe they get a $20 off coupon. Whatever it may be, you're going to increase your value or decrease your value. If the things are flying off the shelf, then you need to add more higher end package stuff with that product in. So they can't just buy that shirt singly. They have to buy it in this package that's going to cost them more, if you can't just raise the price of a shirt. And so that's what I would say, is I would start watching your market. Like, what's the difference if you go to TJ Maxx or a boutique? The only difference is you're paying 3 times the price than going to TJ Maxx. You can find the same exact clothes a lot of the time. You know, I went to Herberger's, and you know how they have like that like dot price room where you get like 90% off like your shoes. I got like 175 pair of like name brand shoes, or $175 name brand shoes for $25. Like, obviously, because they weren't selling, they lowered the price, they lowered the value. Well, anything that's going to be super high priced, they're gonna higher the price. They're gonna create a higher price for things that are more in demand. You know, look at cell phones. Cell phones used to be like $25, and now it's like people are paying $1,000 for an iPhone X. Like that blows my mind, or whatever, you know. And so people will pay it though, because they need a cell phone. But so they're making so much money on their margins. And so that's what I would say. You should absolutely be watching your market and watching what's going up and what's in demand and what's not in demand. What you should be doing flash sales on, maybe those shirts that you only offer certain times of the year, so that they have to buy in bulk all at once. And so they buy lots of that shirts. Makes sense. I can set my own prices, no rules on that. I just need to make money back, but people can shop the main website. Yeah, so I would ask yourself, like, I'm not sure if that's a limited belief that just popped up. I'm not sure what you're meaning by that. Like, I just need to make my money back. So I'm not sure if that's a limited belief, like, oh, well, I can't raise my prices because I have to make my money back. Oh, I see what you're saying. You just have to be able to make your money back. Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, though. If you don't get creative, because you're going to lose some money on some things that people just never buy. So you're going to have to mark them down, below cost. But that just means, how do you equal that out? You mark other things above cost. And so you look at the dollar store. Not everything at the dollar is worth $1. Some things are worth way more. Some things are worth way less. So it's like some things you're paying more for. You know, sometimes you're paying $1 for a little like scrub brush, and other times you're paying $1 for, you know, I don't know, a mirror or something. And so just kind of start looking at everything as a whole. Don't look at it as like, oh, this one thing costs this much, I have to pay this much, or I have to charge this much. The next thing I want to talk about is 5 top marketing tips. Number 1, be the expert in your field. You should know more than anybody else. You should be the greatest and grandest. Like, you're in retail, your store has to be the best boutique in town. Why? You have to know why. You have to be able to tell people, oh, well, why are you allowed to charge this much more? I could go buy this shirt at TJ Maxx. You have to know the reason why your stuff is more expensive, even though it's just a t-shirt with a printed label on that I could probably go make at the logo shop for $5. You know what I mean? So you have to know, why is your stuff way more valuable? Is it the type of material? Is it the love that's put into it? What is it? You know what I mean? I don't know how much Jamie charges for her products, but like, she has to understand that like, banana flour is expensive. I don't know what type of banana flour you do, but like, I use the We Do flour or whatever. We do banana flour or whatever. I don't know. And it's expensive. And so she has to understand when people like come to her and they're like, oh my gosh, well, why is this so expensive? And I don't know if your products are expensive, but like, you have to be able to not just be like, oh, because this product's expensive. Banana flour is super expensive because it's rare. It's rare to come by. It's this, whatever it is that you come up with. Like, you know, it's only seasoned at this time of the year. Like, people that pay $60 for coconut oil, they have to understand why it costs $60, because I don't make that big of a margin with it. And they have to understand, like, I will lose money if I give you this massive 50% off. Like, I can't sell it for $30. Like, I would make no money. And so I have to tell people the reason it's like this is because it's raw. It's like all done within 24 hours and jarred. It has no moisture. It's not going to mold. Like, it's like, there's no heat used. Like, that's nearly impossible. Like, just alone to get it from the Philippines, like, shipping alone is like $90. You know what I mean? And so, like, really knowing what that's like. Be the expert in your field. Choose a topic and be known for that topic. So like Janelle, if she's going for this whole gypsy theme, she's probably going to attract like the traveling type gypsies, the people that are attracted to that type of stuff, the people that are, you know, she has to know her target market. She has to be the expert in that, of what those people are going to want, because it will help you zero in on the right people of where to market. Because say you were to go do a Facebook ad, or you were to even do a newspaper ad or something, or you were at the fair with your guys' stuff, you have to know how to attract and market the people that are going to come to your booth, that are not just going to like walk by. You want to be able to be like, I'm going to attract my ideal client, and they're going to be the ones that are attracted to me. And you have to know how to zero in on them. And how you zero in on them is you become the expert in that field, and you start educating people like crazy. I don't care if you sell products or services. You should be educating people all the time. That's how you're going to make your money. So with Margot, a lot of you met her at the dinner. She does like Almonds Health and Wellness. Like, we started to like doing having them doing classes in their shop, because they only sell products, but they didn't know how to bring people in. How do they bring their ideal client in? They start doing classes on herbs that are going to help them during the cold season. How, you know what I mean? And they do these classes for free to bring people in so that they buy the product. And so, maybe Jamie does, I worked with a lady that she actually used banana flour as well. And she did a whole pumpkin party. Like, we learned how to make pumpkin pancakes, pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin bread, like all of this stuff, while she educated us on why banana flour was so important and how you just use a tiny little bit. And like, she educated us all on banana flour. And so be it. Like, that's kind of like what she did. And she just did that from her house, and it was fun. And now I hire her to make my son's birthday cakes every single year. It's like $70 for his birthday cake, and it's like this small, and I buy it every time because I trust her. I know she knows the ingredients I will and will not use, and I know her beliefs. I know her beliefs around food. And so if people know your beliefs and you're very strong in your beliefs, it's going to weed out just everybody, and it's going to bring in the people that you want to bring in. It's not like Janelle's going to be advertising like to new brides and wedding people, or even necessarily like super like religious people. Like, she's going to be like targeting like those traveling gypsies, maybe those women that like want a little bit of like style but still want to be hip. Like she has to know exactly who she's targeting as she so that when she creates her little trailer, like it's got to attract those people. You know what I mean? She can't just do it to her style. She's got to do it to like her target market style, because it's going to make or break the people that come to her trailer or whatever she decides to do. Number 2, consistency on whatever platform you use. You have to master one platform. Number 1, you have to know your platform. Is your platform speaking on stages? Is your platform Facebook? Is your platform Instagram? Is your platform like just going out in the public? You have to be consistent. The problem is people try to do them all, because all the experts will tell you, you need to master Instagram. You need to master this. I will tell you, I have more followers on Instagram, and I post maybe once a week, just because I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this out. And I get tons of likes and tons of this or that, but I don't understand it. So I'm not going to try to waste the time to do it. I've already created a following on Facebook. I'm going to utilize that following and grow that following like crazy. Todd Herdman always says he will only really speak on stages. Like he has people that manages his Facebook, but he's not like showing up in group communities and doing this or that. He only speaks on stages because he understands the power of like that in-person connection, number 1. And number 2, that's what he's best at. He knows that he can sell people from stage. So look at all the sales that you've made previously. How were they made? Were they made in person or were they made online? Because I see a lot of people just wanting to sell online because it's easy and everybody else is doing it. Awesome. If you're not good at selling online, do not be selling online. If you haven't sold anything online, number 1, get educated and train on how to do it. Or number 2, just quit doing it. Like go do everything else in person if that's how you sell best. So that's what I would say there. Number 3. Oh, it leads us right into this. Stay educated. As times are always changing. So even as of last year, I'm not selling the same way I'm selling this year. Last year, I didn't have to do discovery calls. Last year, I didn't have to do chatbots. But now chatbots are the thing over email lists. It's just a thing. Like if your platform that you're using today just closes down, like if Facebook just closes down, do you have a list? Like, do you have a list of where, like, of all your following? The problem is we have this group and we have this or that, but like, where do we literally, like on paper, you should have everybody's email, everybody's contact. You should know everyone so that you're in control of how to move people when you have to change platforms. Facebook may not be a forever thing. MySpace was not a forever thing. You know what I mean? And so anything can close down at any minute. I can't even log into my MySpace. And I don't know about any of you that had MySpace, but everyone I've talked to, they haven't been able to log into their MySpace. Like they just don't, you know what I mean? And so I want you guys to realize, stay educated as times are changing. Be okay with change. The problem is we don't want to filter things. Like I really think by next year, funnels are not going to be how we see them today. Like I don't think it's going to be like, get your free checklist and then it'll lead you to this free training and then this or that. I really feel like that's going to fizzle out. I just feel that way, which is why I haven't really created like a free type of funnel like that, because I just in my heart feel like that's changing. And so I just chose not to step into that. Sorry. Number 4, build real relationships. Like build real relationships. Step away from the computer. Step away from your phone. The best thing I ever did, the number 1 thing when people said, why do you think your business grew 700% last year? I always tell people, because I started networking. I drove 3 hours to go events. I signed up for different group programs so I could meet in person with people. The people that I have met, literally, they create more business for me than I create. Other business owners will create more business for you than yourself. So say you're Janelle and you have this little like trailer. Maybe you collaborate with Sweeto Burrito and like they get free like $5 off if they buy a shirt, because you guys are in competition, but you can collaborate. And so, you know what I mean? Like you have to think about like, where can you meet those business relationships that can take your business to the next level? I would never be part owner of FEE if I would have never went to their events. Just wouldn't have happened. Never. I would have never just got asked to speak on stage with Les Brown and Ty Lopez if I didn't know Manny Lopez, if I didn't know Omar. I would like this whole relationship would have never happened. And look how close I am to like a freaking celebrity now, just because of that. And now, like, my whole goal this year, because it worked last year, is just freaking meeting people at higher levels, because those people, like, it's like it's like the Oprah effect. If Les Brown likes me, all he has to do is get on a live with me, and I am like, from there on out, I have unlimited business. And that's what you guys need to think about, is where are you meeting your collaborations? Because other business owners are going to be your best sources for clients, your best sources for whatever it may be. You need to learn to step away from the computer and understand that most celebrities don't spend any time online. They spend all their time in in-person networking, meetings, parties, whatever it may be. I show up no matter the drive, no matter the distance, no matter the cost. Do you know that this event is probably going to cost me well over $10,000 for me to speak on stage for 20 minutes after flight, after food, after rooms, after I pay the $7,000 speaker fee, just for me to collaborate? That's how important collaboration is, because I won't make a return on my investment. Well, in that moment, I won't. I will grow my following and I will make connections. So long term, it may happen. But I am spending over $10,000 on my money, knowing that I'm not getting a financial return on investment yet. And so that's what you have to understand. That's how important collaborations are to me, because that's how fast my business grew last year, due to collaborations. If you are not in networking meetings, if you are not out collaborating with people, if you are not out making in-person relationships, your business will drastically fail. Drastically fail. So number 5, put out great content that can be shared so you can grow your following. You know, if you put out great content, other people are going to like share it. You know, I see a lot of people posting things, and then what happens is, and sorry, I don't know if you guys are asking any questions. I haven't checked for a minute, but if you guys are putting out great content, or if you guys are sharing stuff and then it has other people's logo, you're literally just sending everybody to you. So like at the beginning, what I did is I would create my own quotes, or quotes that I would like, and then I would just put like /unknown, you know, like I'm not taking credit for this quote, it's somebody else's, but it's unknown. And then I would put my logo there. Or I would like put like join Expand Your Destiny with a little Facebook logo. Like I was doing that. I don't do that anymore because I don't need to, but at the very beginning of last year, that's what I was doing like crazy. I had the same brand for every single post I posted. So I had the same image so that people consistently knew it was me. So even if you just use the like Facebook background things that you guys use the same one consistently. Like for right now, like where Janelle's out, like wherever she's at in her business, like she should be marketing like crazy right now. She should be building that following. She should be getting out there and networking, because she can go get this whole thing built, get it all set up there. But if she doesn't have an audience, her business will flunk. And so this is why it's so important that you guys are really focused on marketing and sales, no matter what stage of business you're at. You should be out there creating your brand, your personality, getting people hyped up for what's coming. Same thing, you know, with Jamie. I know nobody else is on right now, but it's like whatever event you have coming up next, like hype it up like crazy. Like I've been sharing posts already, and it's like 2 months out of like this thing in California. Well, I don't know what's too soon and what's not too soon. Well, you're just creating the audience right now. So your audience is just going to it's just going to be like your mission. So really, you're just creating the following. Like, so for me, it's never too soon. I'm constantly doing Expand Your Destiny. That doesn't mean I'm always offering, but I've created my community. I've created my tribe. I've created whatever my mission is that I'm going to be educating people on. Because sales just, they don't just happen just because people like the look of your product. You have to figure out, like, how are you, what is it that you're like bringing people together? So for those that have not seen this before, I always share this. Let me see if I can screen share. I always share with people, like, it's like this triangle of needs. When people buy from you, number one, they need like this safety and belonging down here. So, or not safety and belonging. They need this food and shelter. So obviously that's going to be your storefront. Maybe you have treats out front, blah, 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 blah. Any class you do, if you're doing a vendor booth, this would be perfect too. You have the shelter, you have some sort of like free samples, whatever it may be, that they get right there. The next one is order. Like, people need order. They need to know, like, okay, how do I order? What's the structure? Is everything simplified? What's the system? How do I get your product? Like, there's your order. Then they need this sense of what we call like belonging. Like, they have to belong in a group. They have to feel like, okay, I'm like the misfit of how I dress. Like, where is it that they can kind of all collaborate and talk about style or whatever it is that your mission is? There has to be, maybe you do little workshops. Maybe you do little like little small like how people would do parties, like little clothing parties. Like, the reason people do that, and I don't 100% agree with how they're done, but the reason people do those is because they understand people need a place to belong. They need that community, because if they feel together and everybody else is buying the same thing, they're going to buy your stuff. So they need that sense of belonging. And then that's where they get the accomplishment energy, or they feel beautiful, or they just feel great, blah, 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 blah. And then after that goes to service or referrals. This is where you get your referrals. This is where people, you know, you get to serve people, but other people also serve you. They're bringing in people all the time. And so, oops, why is it doing that? Okay. Is there a good ratio of information to promoting events to sales? Is there a good ratio of information to promoting events to sales? I'm not sure what you're meaning by that.
So like, you wouldn't want to promote an event every single post. You wouldn't want to do a sale every single post. You want to balance that with like valuable content and so forth. So for how many posts of valuable content would you do one promoting an event or one promoting sales or whatever?
So it depends how often you're posting. Like, if you're posting, you know, 7 times a day, 2 of those posts could be flat out offers. If you're posting 3 times a day, probably 1 of them should be an offer. Or so I always say like 3 to 5 to 1, you know, like 5 to 1 for flat out offer. But every single post should have a call to action that would lead to a sell anyways. Whether even your most valuable stuff, it should lead to some sort of question that they're engaging at, so that you can lead them into a call or something. Everything you post, it's a waste of time to just post valuable information that cannot lead to somewhere. The whole point of why we all have groups, why we all have communities, is to make sales. And so you have to ask yourself, you can create that valuable information, but always make sure there's a call to action, whether that's like them asking a question so that you know the question they're going to ask, like, what is banana flour? Awesome. Like, I'll send you a Vox or a voice message on Messenger and tell you what it is. Or maybe I'll do a free training for everybody to understand what banana flour is. You do that free training, I talk about the benefits, you lead them to a sell. Do you see that funnel? So always find a way to lead people into a sell with every single post. But yes, I would say I do it differently. I don't really do like 3 in 1. So what I do is I'll do like tons of valuable content, and then I'll lead everybody into calls. And then I have different portions, typically every 5 weeks, where I just do full on offers. So like, if you guys have seen, I've just been busting out Finance Your Destiny like crazy, which just seems spammy to some people. But to me, I'm like, if they're my following and they can't let me have like one time every month where I'm just spamming like my content, then they don't have to be in my group, because they're not going to buy from me anyway. So they're not meant for me. And so I'll do chunks where I'll just like full on spam people for like a week straight of just nothing but Finance Your Destiny. But so you could do it that way too. Because I like to I hate selling, and so it's like uncomfortable for me. So I'd rather give like 4 weeks of nothing but pure content and value, which leads them into a sell on the back end. And then I just like spam them 1 week of like whatever it is I'm offering. But if you're wanting to do like, though I think the better way to do it would be like that 5-in-1. Every 5 posts you do, there should be an offer, like a flat out offer within that. So that's kind of what I do. And you're frozen. So your face looks really confused, but I was like, oh, she's just frozen. So you're frozen on a confused face. I loved it. Okay. So the next thing is number 5. Oh wait, no, we already did that. So now I'm going to give you 5 top 5 sales tips. And these shouldn't take too long. So number 1, it's not what you say, it's what your customers believe. So you have to understand their mindset, their language, their filters. You have to understand, like, this is my whole point of Finance Your Destiny. If you don't understand people's money filters, if you don't understand what their objections are, you're just going to spew them with your objections or with what you think that they should know. And so make sure you ask them questions. Make sure you let them tell you what their needs are, what their concerns are. Like, if everybody is always asking you for the same thing, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm trying to think, like, okay, Jamie, like, I just don't know what to make for lunch. And that's what everybody is asking you all the time. And you feel like you're always giving everybody that answer. Well, obviously, you know the common problem. So you should be doing a training on what to eat for lunch. And so start looking for the questions that are always being asked or the objections that are always coming up. And then you know what to put what your customers, you know where their beliefs are at. You know what beliefs you need to change within them to get them to purchase, to get them to buy. You know, even if like it is like a product, like for me, you know, I don't buy Pampered Chef because why would I buy an expensive product like Pampered Chef when I feel like I could buy something cheaper on Amazon? I need somebody to tell me the reason why. I need someone to tell me like I'm not going to spend like $20 on a freaking like French fry cutter, or I don't even know. It's probably more than that. I don't know. I don't buy Pampered Chef, but that's like my belief about Pampered Chef. It's like everything's overpriced for a piece of plastic. And so, you know, but I think they do stuff like lifetime warranties, stuff like that. I don't know though, because like no one has told me, no one has educated me. Anytime I go to a vendor event, they just spam me on why I should buy the product. They don't even care about like my objections. They don't care about what my needs are. They're spamming me on like, you know, a whisk or a wisp. What's it called? A whisk? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? They spam me on a spatula when I have 10 spatulas. I don't need a spatula, but they didn't take the time to get to know me. They wanted to spam me about what the business is like and their values and this or that. And I'm like, I don't give a rat's. Like, I don't need a spatula. Why are we still talking about a spatula? And so I want you guys to really start to listen to your audience because it's all about what they believe, not what you want to say. Let's see. I think I see a flashy. So let me see. It kicked me off. Now everything is frozen. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I said you were frozen on a confused face. So I didn't know if you were super confused or not. Number 2, always go into a sell and close always go into the sell with a close plan. So if you don't know how you're going to close them, what technique you're going to use, what sales strategy you're going to use, you can't close the sell. You're just like, oh, okay, if you want to buy it, awesome. Like every discovery call that I do, I have a script. I have a script that I use that it leads them through what beliefs. I know I'm going to have to ask them, you know, what are their conversion rates? Because I know they don't know their conversion rates. And if I know the question they don't know, it once again makes me look like an expert. I know they don't know their conversion rates. I will ask them, what's your sales and marketing plan? I know that they probably don't have a sales and marketing plan. You have to know what are the right questions to ask to lead them into the sell. I then know at the end, how motivated are they to change this problem? What's their life going to look like if they can create this income that comes in? How's that going to change their family? I know that I have the specific like structure that I have. You know, Jamie knows, like, we qualify everybody that comes into the Inner Goddess networking meetings. We have a sheet with the specific questions to see if they're the right fit or not the right fit for where their beliefs are at, for how motivated they are, for where they're at before we even lead them into a sell. There's some people that I sit down with for discovery sessions for the Inner Goddess, and I don't even offer to them. because I can see that it's just like, it's not going to go well. And if I offer to them, then I look spammy. So you have to know your strategy to sell people and how you're going to lead them through questions, even if it's in a retail setting. Like say, you know, I don't go into Buckle because, and maybe it's changed, but 10 years ago, they used to just like hand you 10 different clothes and this or that. I just don't go into Buckle anymore. And I love their stuff, but I'm so terrified to go in there because I just want to be left alone. And so, but I also want enough help that like people will help me find what I'm looking for. And so how does Janelle figure out her sell strategy when people come up to look at what she has? She gets to she has to know her strategy of how she's going to address people's concerns without being super spammy. And so make sure you go into whatever you're going into with with a closing plan. If you don't know how you're going to close it, it can be really hard. I know that I'm going to close it, and I already know the objections. I know the objections are going to be, I either have to talk to my spouse or I can't afford it. I can't afford to work with you. So guess what? Those are the objections that most people would be like, oh, okay, not a big deal. No, that's the time I get to position myself as an expert. Awesome. Here's some tips on what I do on how to deal with my husband. Awesome. Here's like, how can we create the money so you can afford it? You know, like instead of being like, oh, I totally get it. Like you can't afford it and closing the sale there. No, I position myself as an expert. Awesome. So what you're saying is you want to do it. I get them to commit again. Yes. So what you're saying is you want to do it. You just don't know how to create the money. And they'll be like, yes, I really want to do it. I just don't know how I'm going to do it. Awesome. Here's what I would do. Here's ways you can get that money. Here's this or that. You reposition yourself as an expert when people want to create their objections. Like, you know, what's an objection every store owner hears that owns a boutique? Oh, we're going to go look elsewhere. We're going to look elsewhere and then we'll come back. How many times do we personally say that? That's an objection. We know they're not coming back. You have to know how to deal with those objections. Awesome. Totally fine. But within this next hour, we're offering like you get a buy one, get one free. So you're more than welcome to come back. Just make sure it's within this hour because then you get this or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? You have to know how to close people. Number 3, schedule out time to connect with potential clients or collaborations. So make sure, so for instance, I have this guy that's been bugging me forever, and he wants to collaborate and talk to me all about Bitcoin and all of this stuff. And I'm like, that's like my husband's thing, not my thing. And he had like 3 other business opportunities, but he won't leave me alone. And so I'm like, you know what? I will schedule 10 minutes this day. I'll give you 10 minutes. That's my time. Because I don't know who he knows or what he knows, or, you know, he's gotten clients on Shark Tank and this or that. Like there might be something about him that I need. And so I've been pushing him off, but I have a time that I'm like, awesome, I can't do this right now, but I have 10 minutes this day. And so always schedule out. On Friday, I'm going down to our networking meeting again. Like I'm always, today I have a meeting at Beehive once again, at Beehive tonight at 5. Like I have these different things that I set out that are strictly for those real relationships. If you remember that. And so I want you guys to, sorry, I don't know why. I can't mute Jamie. It's really weird. Jamie, you're unmuted, but I can't mute you. It won't let me. It's really weird. Okay, so then the next thing is number 4, confidence. If you do not believe in your product, nobody else will either. If you do not believe in what you're doing, nobody else will either. If you are not confident, so I know one thing I have to work on before I get on stage with Les Brown is my confidence at a whole nother level. Like, for those that are in the Infinite Wealth Engine, you guys saw like my screenshots to my husband. Like, I was seriously like, you know, I should just read it to you guys, but I don't really have time. But it was interesting because I was like, I'm like freaking out. I sent him the flyer. He's like, oh my gosh, that's like so bad, and all this stuff. And I was like, no, it's not. Like they have like 20,000 followers and they're all millionaires, and I am the only one that does not have that. Like I am so embarrassed, like so embarrassed. I don't want people to research me. I don't want to put that flyer out there because I'm embarrassed. And my husband's like, you're freaking kidding me, right? Like, you get this opportunity. Everybody starts somewhere. Like, I still feel like I'm at the beginning. I still don't feel good enough. And if I don't feel good enough, and my husband told me this, if you don't work through this, you're going to totally flunk on stage because you're letting your confidence get in the way. And if you don't believe that you're just as good as these people, nobody else will either. So I know what I have to work on is my confidence, even if I don't make as much, even if I don't have the following that they have, even if I'm not Les Brown, I have to bring my confidence up to the I am not good enough. I have to do that whole fake it till you make it. I have to do my declarations. I have to do all the foundational work that we know how to do. I have to do all that stuff to bring my confidence up, or the money will be where my confidence level is at. And so I have to work on that. So if you don't believe in that you can sell, or that if you don't believe that your products or your shirt is worth $30 or your banana flour is worth $50, I don't know what it's really worth. So I don't think it's worth it, or I don't think it's you charge $50 for it. But what I would say is, like, you have to bring your confidence. You can sell anything for anything. Like, you look at this, the restaurants that charge like $20 for valet versus like free parking, there's no difference between their confidence, between the way they dress, between the way, like, the atmosphere that they've created. You know, there is no difference between going to a steakhouse and buying a $9.99 steak from like Sizzler and buying a $50 steak from somewhere else. There's no difference. It's just the steak, but we pay it. We pay the difference. Why do we pay $50 for Lagoon and however much for Disneyland? It's just a ride, but it's the experience, it's the branding, it's the marketing, it's the way that they went about it to create this whole magical thing. And so you have to bring your confidence up to that level of creating an experience. Number 5, follow through and show up on time. So many sales are lost just due to being irresponsible and disrespectful by not showing up on time. Time is the thing that is like my number one, like, pet peeve. And I will tell you, if a client ever shows up late for a discovery call, or if they no show at all, I never book them again, and I never make them an offer, because I know where they're at. And my biggest pet peeve is like people being late is like my biggest thing. So I know that if I have people that are late, I just don't offer to them, because the one pattern will show up everywhere unless I know they're trainable, unless I know they're like, you know, whatever it may be. But if you're someone that shows up late, really get that in check, especially like, say, you know, you have a vendor booth. You have to show up at 7 a.m. If you don't show up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever it is, like, it's not just like, you know, you're late. The people that's running the vendor booth know, like, the people running the event know you're always late. So they're not going to book you again. They're going to know that, you know what I mean? Janelle's like, I'm so guilty. So think of it though. Like, if people are lined up at your door, like, for your shop, and you're not on time, like, they're not going to come back. And so you have to, it's like, consistency is everything. And so it's like, when I get anxiety, when my Zoom is like freaking out and I'm 1 minute late on a Zoom, like, I get anxiety. I will tell you, when I went to Beehive, I was 30 minutes early. When I go to the network meetings and on Friday, I'm always 30 minutes early. And my husband thinks it's ridiculous. But I'm like, what if I got in a car wreck? Or what if my tire got flat? Or what if what if, like, what if I get pulled over like I did last time? Like, you never know. And so I always am just like, it's a huge respect thing, because we think it's just us, but we don't realize, like I remember one time I was like going down to a networking meeting and I needed to be there, and it was not their fault, but their tire went flat. They had to go get it changed. I was 3 hours delayed, and I was just sitting at Harmon's for 3 hours. And you know how you get irritated and you're like fuming, and it's like the person, like, it's just like the person took their time out of their day to be with you. So especially with collaborations, make sure no matter what, you're on time. And so obviously things happen. And I always tell people this. Usually people that are late, they're consistently late. And if they can be consistently late, they can be consistently 20 minutes early. And so think of it that way. Like, if you know you're always late, plan to be 30 minutes early, because you'll probably be on time. Because if you can be consistently late, you can be consistently on time. And so I love that Janelle's like just smirking. You can be consistently on time. It's possible. No matter what, no matter like what your kids are doing or where anything's at, like it's possible. I promise. It's a good skill to learn. So that's awesome. Any questions? I can probably answer like 1 or 2 questions. It's first day of Finance Your Destiny, and it's a whole new way I'm doing it, so I'm kind of nervous, and so I want at least 2 minutes to kind of plan because I'm nervous. It's gonna be good. So, any questions?
I do have a big question on how you were talking about when to start marketing. So for me, what I meant by I don't know when's too soon and when's too late, I don't want to like hype it up now and then have it take too long to really be able to do like a reveal and have people just get bored or, you know, like less interested. So that's what I've been wondering, because I want to spill the beans so bad. Like it is killing me that I can't just go tell everybody what I'm doing right now. But
so what's your date to reveal?
I want to be like late spring, like soon, like within a few months. I think it's doable.
Okay.
The only thing that would slow me, what's that?
What's the date?
I don't have a date yet. So find a date.
Yes, go find
Give
a date.
myself a deadline.
Give yourself a deadline. Give your husband a deadline. Like, when is the trailer going to be done?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, get that trailer done. Now, I actually say put a date. And here's the thing. You have to decide how you're going to reveal it, because do you want to reveal it enough that people know that you sell this clothing and it's soon going to be here? Like, do you want to do a tester to see if people want to buy this stuff? You know what I mean? And so, like, are you going to do like an online pre-sale first or an online pre-sale and like start selling products and see where it's at, see what people like, so you know what to put in your store? You know what I mean? Or are you wanting to just flat out one day start and here's this new store? That's like 2 different options that you get to decide what you want. Either way, started like a date. I think like you get stuck in creation mode and you can create all day long and like this or that, but like when is like the deadline, so that no matter what, I don't care if the trailer is half put together, like it is on wherever you're going to put it. Where's the lot you're going to put it on? Like, do you have a contract signed for that? Like, start getting like commitments down so that it's not like, oh, well, late spring, because late spring will turn into late summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, especially if you consistently run late, like I don't know if you do, I'm just saying, like,
I do. You know I do.
So like what I would say is like I would start setting some dates and then plan everything around that, and then decide which launch you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to do like the pre-sale type launch thing, well, if it's soon, then I would start launching your products like, hey, coming soon, this is coming, like I'm doing some online pre-sales before I even open the store, so my VIP special guests are going to get to see my top 5 favorite clothing, blah blah. You put them into a little group, they are the ones that get to buy your stuff, not necessarily the public. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's one thing I've been worried about is if I build inventory and then sell it, you know what I mean, then I'm not gonna have anything to put in there. So it could kind of go either way.
Not really, because you're selling it so you get to buy more inventory.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because what's going to happen if you get inventory and then people buy it from your shop? You still got to get more inventory. So
Right.
Not any. It's actually better because you know what inventory to get.
Yeah.
Because you know what people want, not what you like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which has been my other struggle.
Yeah.
I
think you need to get to know your market, and you need to gather your market so you know who your target here in Cache Valley is.
Okay.
Because if I'm being honest, there's a lot of LDS people in Cache Valley.
Right.
There's also not a lot of LDS people, but who's going to be the one that buys your tank tops? Who's going to be the one that, like, can you find those people? Or all of your friends on Facebook LDS? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
And it's not a judgment thing, it's just reality. Like,
right.
You have to know, like, in Cache Valley where the market is, if that's where you're going to put. So, I have to get off, though. So I will get back to you guys, but I have to get on my call right now. So
thank you.
Can't be late. Bye.